We are back with some more Seahawks franchise, and we have a little bit of a sadder video here today. It's good and it's bad. I'll just cut right to it. That was our final season this cycle. We started a little late. Usually we go 5-6 seasons, but we started a little bit later, and then we had a little hiccup towards the beginning where we had to remake a bunch of stuff and do another league because the first league crapped out on us. So, it took a little bit to get rolling this Madden, and we barely have enough time to do a fifth season if we wanted to. We would have to shorten our advanced days. Right now, our advanced days, we have 3 days to play our game, and then we advance to the next week. But with Madden coming out in middle of August, and we're pretty close to July already. I mean, by the time this video comes out, we might be like a week away from July. We'd be pushing super hard to get that fifth season in. And a lot of the guys like to take just a little breather, a little break. I mean, the beta is already out for Madden 23, so a lot of people are playing Madden 23 already, trying to get used to the new passing stuff. And we're trying to pick the set up teams for next season, all that good stuff. So just isn't enough time to do a fifth season. So thank God we clutched up there at the last second in Super Bowl 59 to get the W 27-26 in our final game. Just like the Giants franchise, we walk it off with a Super Bowl win in our final season. So this video will be recapping all the season's stats, so everyone can get, how everyone see how everyone did for this season. And we have the awards. So I'm going to start off with the awards first. If you did not watch last year, at the end of every Madden cycle, I put up a bunch of straw polls. They'll be all in the description, so make sure you vote. I'm gonna probably let them run 3-4 days of people voting, just so everyone can vote who they want, and then we'll come out with little highlights. So for instance, one of the categories is offensive MVP. So there'll be 4 players that you could pick on. Each category is based on longevity. So maybe Jacoby had an amazing season this season, but he's only been here for 1 season out of the 4. So how could he possibly be entered into the offensive MVP thing if he's only been here 1 season when we played 4? And then whoever wins those, I will be making a little montage of clips throughout the whole entire Madden cycle and uploading that to YouTube so you guys can see a little recap. And then we'll be headed into Madden 23 stuff. So our first category, like I said, offensive MVP. And this one, pretty easy. I think I know who's going to win this. But we got DK Metcalf nominated. Monster, obviously. I have Russell Wilson nominated. So we'll go ahead and show you Russell. He's currently on the Philadelphia Eagles. So good old Russell Wilson. I mean, he took us to a Super Bowl. He was here for 2 years. So there's Russell. He's still 96 overall, doing, being a beast. Next on the list is Tyler Lockett. He was here for 3 years, I want to say, and he was doing some pretty good things for us. So good old Tyler. He is on the football team now, leading them 81 overall. He's regressed a little bit, but, he was making a lot of things happen for us, especially I want to say maybe it was the Super Bowl year or it was the 3rd season. I can't remember, but he had a season where he led in yards and was a freaking monster. Or maybe it was receptions that he led in. So Tyler Lockett definitely belonged on that category. And then the last nominated for offensive MVP is our other quarterback that we had for the back half of the season, last 2 seasons, is Joe Burrow. So DK, Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, and Tyler Lockett. Like I said, there's going to be 6 straw polls, I believe. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 6 straw polls down in the description. So make sure you vote for one person. You only can vote 1 for each one. So vote who you think should win. Next on the list is defensive MVP. First up, we have Max Crosby. So good old Maxie. Absolute dominating performance in year 3. This season was, a little hit or miss. Didn't really do much in the playoffs for us. He did cause a lot of throw out of the sacks in the Super Bowl, so I will credit him that. He didn't register any sacks, but he did hit Josh Allen quite a bit, which is big. And Josh Allen was missing quite a bit. He was getting in his face. So Max Crosby first on the list. Next, we have Jordan Brooks, who was here all 4 seasons, just a staple on the defense. Absolute monster, caused a lot of fumbles. I think he led our team in tackles almost every single season besides maybe Bobby did the first year. But Jordan, absolute beast. One underrated player that's been here all 4 years that's been just so solid is Poona Ford. I mean, Poona Ford had 2 sacks in the Super Bowl. Poona Ford has been a monster in the run stop department, run stuffing up that middle. And he's just gets a couple sacks here and there, and he just makes plays. So Poona Ford definitely, I think, deserves to be on the defensive MVP. He's been here every year, started every year, and has been very, very good for us. And the last on the defensive MVP, he's been here the 3 seasons. I can't forget about him. He definitely deserves to at least be nominated, and that is Jamal Adams. So Jamal's sitting on the Titans. That was the trade that just happened this past offseason. Jamal had a pretty good season here with the Tennessee Titans. He's a 99 overall still. Absolute unit. He's a beast. So Jamal definitely deserves to be nominated there. The next category, we have our best drafted players. And this one was kind of hard. Obviously with the 2 rookies this season. But other than that, it was really hard for me to figure out who I want to put on here. So the first player I put on was Spencer O'Neal. I mean, he took over that second cornerback spot. I think this was his second season. He's been here for 2 years. So 2 years with us. He's turned into a solid player, 86 overall with the morale boost. So very, very solid player. Definitely deserved to be on here. The next one was Landon Williams. He's been here for 2 seasons as well, the replacement for Chris Carson. He's been okay. He definitely hasn't filled up to Chris Carson. I mean, if Chris Carson led the league in touchdowns every single year when he was here with us, he was an absolute monster. But Landon Williams was definitely not a scrub. He, made things happen, especially in the NFC Championship. He had, I think, 1 or 2 touchdowns, and even had, I think, over 100 receiving yards. And then in the Super Bowl, he had over 100 rushing yards. So definitely played a key part for us in our playoff run. The next 2, obvious, are both the rookies, Jamie Pearson and Jacoby Blackstock. I mean, these 2 are probably one of the best offensive, or not even offensive, just the best people I've drafted this whole cycle. It sucks. It would be amazing if I drafted them at the very beginning and had 4 years to play with these guys, or 3 years. But got them at the end. Thank God I did, because both of them came up absolutely huge. Moving over to the best free agent signing / trade. So our best transaction move. First up, we have Stephon Gilmore. Big time pickup in free agency. We definitely needed that on the corner spot. We just needed a shutdown guy, and he came up and basically won us the Super Bowl. Got that pick at the 2-point conversion, made a big play, and we won the Super Bowl. So he made a massive play there for us. Next, Max Crosby. I mean, he has to be here. First season coming in after free agency, and he led the league in sacks. Like I said, this season wasn't the greatest, but wasn't the worst. But that first season with Max Crosby was just absolutely ridiculous. Kevin Byard broke the interception record this season. Definitely a big move for us. That I think worked out tremendously, because we were able to keep Marquise Blair, put him to strong safety, which I think he played better at strong safety than free safety. And we get Kevin, who leads the league in picks, or got the season record in picks. Got Mike Douglas, who made some plays here, and a first-round pick. So that was a big trade that was definitely well worth the losing Jamal. I really didn't want to trade Jamal, but it was well worth it. And the last one being Joe Burrow, who we got for just 1 first-round pick. And the man is up to a 96 overall with his morale boost. He was an absolute monster. Moving on to the kind of funny category. These are always fun to try to really figure out who fits it. And there's always a group of guys. That fit it. Last year we had Jacob Eason. We used Jacob Eason, and I gave up on him after 2 years because he was horrible. So there's always a group of guys, and that is the biggest bust category. Thaddeus Moss is first on the list, and this man, Thaddeus Moss, isn't even on a team anymore. I looked, I could not find him, so Thaddeus Moss is not even on a roster. I thought, getting him in, I could develop him, and he could be my Jacoby Blackstock, if you will, but it just never panned out for him. He never really flashed like Jacoby did in his rookie year, so Thaddeus Moss on the list. Next is Najee Beckwith, who did okay. I just think the reason why he deserves to be on this list is because I wanted him. I mean, he was part of the very first draft class we had, and I wanted him to be the Spencer O'Neal role, like that Spencer's in right now. I wanted him to be the number 2 or number 1 corner on the squad, and he just never fit that. He would get roasted consistently. He did pretty good this year, but that's only because he was guarding the 3rd or 4th best wide receiver, and he made plays in the dime packages he was out. So that fit him better, but I really wanted him to be a number 1 or a number 2 corner. I wanted him to start every single game, be out wide, make things happen, and it never happened for him. It just never happened. So that's why he's on there. Next on the list is Ben Greenfield, another guy part of the very, very first draft class that I had. I want to say I drafted him. He was high 60s. He might even be like a 70 overall. He was definitely like high 60s when I first drafted him. And if you take away the morale boost, he's a 79 overall. He barely developed. I mean, he's not a bad right tackle, but the fact that he was part of the very first draft class and he was supposed to be a staple in the right tackle spot, it just, like I said, it just never came to fruition. He's just okay. You know, we drafted him. I want to say he was, I think I can check. I want to say he was like a second or a third round pick. Let's see here. Career stats, season stats, what is he? What would I even... Oh, contract maybe? No? Oh, there we go. Yeah, third round pick. I mean, it just... Our third round pick for the very first season, that's a crucial player because we have 3 years to use him, and he just didn't develop that much. And last on our list is Darrell Taylor. I wanted him to be, you know... I wanted him to be Mac Crosby. I wanted to develop him and have him be the number one alongside Alton Robinson. That was the goal. Those were my speed rushers to get after the quarterback. And Darrell Taylor was horrible. That man was so bad. I think I used him a season and a half. Maybe I used him for the first 2 seasons, and then he was gone. It sucked because I loved Darrell Taylor in real life. Or Darrell Taylor. I forget how he pronounces his name. It's like different every other day. But I love him in real life, so I really wanted to develop him, but it just didn't work out. Alton Robinson outplayed him every snap, so just didn't work out. And our last category that I added, it's a new one. I thought this would be a pretty cool one. I'll start doing it if we win the Super Bowl, but Super Bowl season MVP. So our best player this past season because we won the Super Bowl, so I'm not counting people who played, year 3, year 2. The year 2 Super Bowl doesn't count because we lost. So Super Bowl winning MVP season. Who was the best player on our team the year we won the Super Bowl? And the 4 nominated are Joe Burrow, obvious reasons. Jacoby Blackstock, obvious reasons. Kevin Byard, for some obvious reasons. That boy was a monster. And lastly, Jamie Pearson. So those are all the categories. Like I said, the link's in the description. Make sure you vote for all the players you think won that, and then I'll leave this video up for a couple days, and we will go over, we'll post some montages of whoever wins those categories. Moving to the end of season recap video, back to normal stuff here. It's going to be a pretty short recap. Obviously, we won the Super Bowl. That's what we wanted to do. Thank God we did. We've done 3 Maddens now of this league, and we've won a Super Bowl each year. Seahawks, Bengals, and the Giants are all checked off. So I'm happy the Seahawks are checked off. I mean, that's my team I support in real life, so needed to get that ring with them. 15-2. Our only 2 losses were with the backups at the end of the season. I mean, perfect season. I'm curious if we would have started our starters the whole regular season. We might have just won every single game and went undefeated and won a Super Bowl. So huge for us to win that. I really have no idea who I want to be for next Madden. So if you have any, like I said, I'm not being the Seahawks, I'm not being the Giants, and I'm not being the Bengals. Those are the 3 teams we won with. So if you have any, want to use my favorite team leave a comment down below because there's not a single team that pops in my head and I'm like, ooh, that sounds really interesting. So let me know what you think. The Texans sound kind of interesting to me because it just would be a really fun rebuild because they're so, they need help in a lot of spots, but I don't know if the Texans he's a Texans fan in real life, so I don't know if he's willing to give him up. But we'll start off with some awards here. We did have some players who won some yearly awards, which is great to see. MVP was Josh Allen. Obviously, Josh Allen he'll probably win MVP in real life, and that man's just a beast. We had no Seahawks in the MVP ranks, which probably because the starters didn't play the last 3, so that's probably the reason for that. I guess we didn't win Coach of the Year. We got 3rd place, which is a little weird if you ask me. We'll just breeze through the AFC side. Josh Allen, Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Preston Barkley. Definitely deserved that. I mean, he got to the AFC Championship. So as a rookie, very good season for him. Pat Bass, Defensive Rookie of the Year on the Bills. That was one of their safeties. Josh Allen, Best Quarterback. Best Running Back, Najee Harris. Best Receiver, Stephon Diggs. Best Offensive Lineman, Quentin Nelson. Best Defensive Lineman, Myles Garrett. Best Linebacker, Alex Highsmith. Best DB, Derek Stingley. And the best kicker is Tyler Bass. Moving to the NFC side, Offensive Player of the Year was... Is it going to show me here? I want to say it was Malik Willis. Yeah, Malik Willis. We didn't have anyone nominated, which is a little unfortunate. Defensive Player of the Year was Kevin Byard. Definitely deserved it. I mean, if you break the interception record on the season, you deserve to be Defensive Player of the Year. So his first year as a Seahawk, he wins it. Jamal Adams won it the year before. So I guess whatever safety you plop out there, we just make things happen with him. Jacoby Blackstock actually won Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is absolutely crazy because he was sitting around 3, I think. Jamie was pretty much around 3 and 4 the whole season long. But he was sitting around 3, and Luke Conrad was ahead, and he was even below Caruthers, the running back for the Panthers. But he just started going absolutely insane. I think there was that one 200 receiving yard, 3 touchdown game, and Jacoby just dominated at the end of the season and pushed him up the rankings. So he actually did win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year was Adrian Wilson Jr. We had Pollard at 7. Solid rookie year for him. Nothing insane, but solid year. Best QB was Malik Willis. Joe Burrow sitting at 4. Best running back was Saquon Barkley. I don't think Landon... Oh, he did crack the top 10. Okay, so he hit the 10 spot there. Best wide receiver, Jamie Pearson did win this, which is just crazy. No DK, not even top 10. DK was hurt, so, But Jamie Pearson, amazing season. Best offensive lineman was Frank Ragnow. I don't know how to pronounce his name. We actually had one up here. I think this was the first time. So Damian Lewis, really, really good season for him. We haven't had much offensive linemen crack the top 10. So to see one this season was very, very exciting. Best defensive lineman, Daniil Hunter. He almost won it last year. Or I think he did win it last year over Max. Max was second, but Max just had the most sacks. Max sitting at 5, so not too bad for him. Best linebacker was Ron Gray. Don't think we had, none in the top 10 there for this season. Best DB, Kevin Byard, definitely deserves it. No Gilmore, nothing else there. Best kicker is Young Ho Koo, the GOAT. Dustin Hopkins coming in at the 6th spot. Not too shabby. And that is that for the awards. We're going to go over, we'll just go over league leaders real quick, who won stuff, and then we'll go over my team, and then we'll get out of here. So the passing leader was Patrick Mahomes with 5,779 yards. Touchdown leader, Josh Allen with 56 touchdowns. The pick leader, Dak Prescott, 46. Goddamn. 46. That is absolutely bonkers, man. Rushing leader was Dalvin Cook with 1,770 yards. Just squeaked out Cam Akers. The touchdown leader, a tie between Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins. Let's go with the fumble leader. Damn, great. Gabriel Lawrence, Kyler Murray both had 10. Not too bad, not too bad. So that's a lot of fumbles, man. A lot of fumbles. Reception leader was Andrew Jackson from the Vikings with 106. The yards leader was Justin Jefferson with 1,698 yards. Our touchdown leader was Stephon Diggs with 24. Man, that man was getting a shitload of touchdowns. No sacks allowed for those guys. Oh, he only played 4 games. Okay. Who's got the most? Cameron Clark, 18 sacks. That boy was allowing more than a sack a game. That is embarrassing. How did he play every single game? That makes no sense. Tackle leader, Isaiah Simmons, 179. He's always the tackle leader. Him or Devin White. It's always those two, I swear. Always. It is never someone else. It's those two, man. Every single time. Tackle for loss leader, Ed Oliver, 37. That makes sense. That boy was a monster in the Super Bowl. Sack leader this year was Myles Garrett with 16 and a half. Interception leader, Kevin Byard, 16. The legend. Pass deflections, anything. Carlton Davis had 19. Who's the most catches? 57 for Patrick Surtain. Struggling. Forced fumbles. We had Aiden Hutchinson with 6. Any block kicks? Had 4 block kicks this season. Any safeties? Dang, a lot of safeties. Look at all that. 1, 2, 3, 5 safeties. How many touchdowns? John Johnson had 5 touchdowns. Dang. The boy was everywhere. Best kicker, or the most made kicks, I guess, was the Lions. The punting don't matter too much. How many kick returns we get this year? 5 kick returns. Dang, okay. Punt returns, anyone do anything crazy? I always like to check. The longest one, 28. The Texans again? He was up here last season, I want to say. He's pretty... How is he getting all these random long punt returns? He must know something we don't know. He must. Moving on to our team. So Joe Burrow had a pretty good season. I wouldn't say it was, anything bad, but it definitely wasn't something spectacular. Got sacked a lot compared to last season. So Joe Burrow ended the season with 4,302 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 21 interceptions. Last season, obviously, 3 more games for Joe Burrow last season. Last season, Joe Burrow had 5,511 yards. So in 3 more games, the man had 1,200 more yards, which is crazy. In 3 more games, he also had 12 more touchdowns, and he had 6 more picks. So he definitely had a better season, I would say, last year than this year. And he also got sacked 9 less times. He got sacked 9 more times this season. So in 3 less games, he got sacked 9 more times. So he was getting sacked a lot. The offensive line was beat up a little bit. I know Posick was hurt, for a while. So it makes sense. Spencer came in and made some things happen. I mean, he was looking pretty solid. If this series went on for 4 more years, there'd be a world where maybe I'd trade Joe for peak value and just let this young man play. Because the games he came in, besides the first game he played, the second and third game he came in and was absolutely slinging it. I mean, that man was playing out of his mind for a rookie. Rushing wise, like I said, a little bit better season last season, I would say, for Landon than this season. And they played 3 more games last season than us. This year, Landon 265 attempts for 994 yards, just couldn't quite crack the 1,000 rushing yards. Had 16 touchdowns and 1 fumble with an average a game of 58.5. Not good at all. He definitely picked it up in the playoffs, but was not good at all throughout the season. Last year, he had 316 carries, 1,309 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 1 fumble. So 4 less touchdowns last season, but his average a game was 77. So his average was about 20 yards better last season. And his yards per carry were, this year is 3.8. Last year it was 4.1. So his yards per carry was also better. So just not the best season. Like I said, he definitely turned it up in the playoffs, but not the best season. A lot of that was offensive line issues. Artie McKenzie had a pretty good season this year compared to, or actually a lie, he definitely had a better season last year. So this year, Artie 84 for 307 on the ground, 0 touchdowns and 1 fumble, while last season he had 99 carries, 510 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So 3 rushing touchdowns for Artie last season, more yards, more carries. His yards per carry was way better. This year it was 3.7, and Artie last year was sitting at 5.2. So just was not a good year running the ball. It really wasn't. Joe Burrow ran a lot more this year. He had 244 yards last year at 171. So I guess that's good, but we just didn't run the ball good, and I mean that showed up. I mean there was games where we were having big time issues trying to run the ball. I mean we were having huge issues. Moving on to the receiving end, Jacoby Blackstock led us in yards with 1,587 yards on 86 receptions with 16 touchdowns. Right behind him, Jamie Pearson led us in receptions. He had 91, had 1,251 yards and 18 touchdowns. So huge seasons, huge contributions from the rookies. DK played a lot less games, so that's how Alex Taylor had DK got hurt, then he got benched. So DK 35 for 616 and 5. Even with those numbers on the 12 games, not the best season for him. He made some plays, in the playoffs, which was huge for us, but not the best season for him. Alex Taylor, another rookie, solid. I mean, as the 4th option basically on this team. I mean, when DK's in there, he's definitely ahead of Taylor, so this is the 4th option. And maybe even the 5th at times when Artie checks in, 39 receptions, 624 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So I think Alex Taylor definitely lived up to his potential. Definitely, because he was supposed to replace, the Tyler Lockett kind of role. I mean, that was, what he was replacing. And he definitely did pretty good. Jamie in the slot was a monster. He had more yards, receptions, touchdowns by far compared to Dwayne Eskridge, who Dwayne Eskridge was our slot last year. So Jamie just blew it out of the water. So I think it was a good reason to trade Eskridge and go after Jamie, because Jamie was an absolute monster. I mean, that boy, he was just crazy. Artie McKenzie had a really good year, way better than last year in terms of receiving. Last season already had 30 catches for 297 yards and 5 touchdowns. This year, 44 catches, 607 yards and 3 touchdowns, so 600 yards through the air. Pretty damn solid if you ask me. Freddie Swain, a lot of these were, in the games that he was starting because of, when we were benching our starters. But Freddie Swain had a solid season, 28 for 452 and 3. And Landon Williams, a little bit better last year through the air, but I think we used Artie a lot more, so that's probably why Landon wasn't as good. Last year, Landon had 31 catches, 309 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This year, Landon only had 20 catches for 240 yards and 1 touchdown, so a little bit less there for Landon on the receiving end. Moving on to the blocking, how many sacks allowed? Ethan Posick and Clayton Drayton are tied for both 8. I mean, look at this man. He's only played 9 games and then boys at 7. Kurt Morris was an absolute scrub. I mean, I'm telling you, Kurt Morris, that man was not good. That boy was struggling. Defensive side of the ball, Kevin Byard apparently led us in tackles this year, which he played more games, so that makes a little more sense, but he blew everyone out of the water. Even Ernest got over Jordan, which is a little interesting. But he had 103 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 16 interceptions. I mean, Kevin Byard the interceptions are just massive, man. Absolutely massive. Jamal Adams was our interception leader last season with 13, so 3 more interceptions. Huge job for Kevin. Ernest Jones had a really solid season this year with 81 tackles. The 9 tackles for loss stands out. Got a sack, got a pick, so pretty good season for him. His stats are very, very similar to last year. He had 90 tackles last year. He had 10 tackles for loss, so only 1 more last season. A sack, or half a sack, so we got the full sack this year, and had 3 picks last season. So pretty similar for Ernest. Not too bad. Like I said, they played more games last season than this season, so if he played a couple more games, he probably would have had very, very similar stats. Jordan Brooks was a little bit down. Actually, no, he actually wasn't too bad compared to last year. Last year, he had 96 tackles, had 79 this year. He had 14 tackles for loss, 12 last year. He only had 2 sacks last year. This year, he has 5. The pick department was a little down. He had 3 last year. This year, only got 1. So, not too bad there for Mr. Ernest Jones, or Jordan Brooks, my bad. DJ Reed in the slot, 62 tackles, tackle for loss, no sacks, 6 interceptions. Not too bad there for DJ. Not too bad. He did pretty good, this year in the slot for us. I will definitely take that. Marquise Blair, his first year at strong safety, was solid. 59 tackles, a tackle for loss, and 5 interceptions. Gilmore, not too bad as, lockdown guy. 44 tackles, no sacks, no tackles for loss, but did get the 5 picks for us and the game winner, which was huge. Reuben Foster, solid, 41 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Let's look at some leaders here in the tackle for loss department. It is a tie between Max Crosby and Mike Douglas. That boy had a solid season, man. 17. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Jordan Brooks with 14 in third, and Pollard, the rookie, had 12 double-digit tackles for loss. You love to see that. Sack leaders, Max Crosby with 11, Mike Douglas with 9, Pollard with 5.5, Jordan with 5. Puna, like I said, just solid. I mean, he's just solid. 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and just makes plays. He's just a solid-ass player on the defensive side there. Kicking, we made all of our field goals with Dustin, which is kind of crazy. Only missed 2 extra points. So very, very good signing to get Dustin on the roster because the rookie we had was an absolute bum. I mean, he really was. We had 18 punts down within the 20, which is really, really good. I love to see that. No block punts. Did get a kick return for a touchdown this season, which is great. And 96-yarder, making plays on special teams is always huge. So love to see that from Jamie. No punt returns. No punt returns this whole Madden, unfortunately. Maybe next Madden we can get one, but we did get a 17-yarder, so not too bad there for Jamie. That is that for the team stats and the end of season recap. Like I said, last season, so no more videos of actual gameplay, me playing. We got the 6 straw polls up in the description. Make sure to click the link, vote for the player you think, and then over the next week or so, I will be uploading just, montages and here or there for the players that won those awards. And when all 6 are out, I will be making another video talking about upcoming stuff for Madden 23. And then before you know it, we're going to be rolling into the next season with a brand new team in Madden 23. So thank you for all the support on this series. I'm going to say it one more time. Please vote in the description for the players you think win those awards. They're always fun. Going back, watching all the videos, and trying to find their best plays so I can show you guys a little montage. It's always fun doing that, so make sure you vote, and I will see you guys in the next one.